Hi, and welcome to this session of Archicad tutorial training and how to create a template with Archicad. So in this session, we're going to talk about composites. So we briefly touched on this in the last lesson, but we're going to get in a little bit more detail about this. So here are various different composites that are kind of laid out, and they represent different information, different wall types, ways to express your drawings in ways that clearly illuminate how things are going to be put together from a construction standpoint. So within your composites, let's just look at something really quickly. So I'm going to go to Window, Palettes, and I'm going to drop down my quick options, my quick options. Oops. So I use this palette a lot, but I wanted to show you, so within the quick options, you have the ability to go to core only. So core only represents only kind of the structural or most vital kind of component to that wall system. So you can easily look kind of like at what's going on within the wall. And then you can show the entire model, which has the finishes on it. So let's just look at this. So I have a shortcut key that allows me to go to my my composites, and I would recommend having something like that so that you can access the composite structures easily, because there's two benefits to that. You can highlight a wall and then go to the composite structure, and then you can see what that wall is actually made of. So let's just highlight it just to make sure we're in the right wall. Yeah. So you need to absorb the properties of that wall and then go to the composite structures. Alternatively, you can just select it, highlight it, absorb the properties, and then go to composite structures, and it'll pull up the correct wall composite that you're using. So here is the composite. I really enjoy composites, but they have become a little bit more complicated with the addition of the building materials. In the past, you used to have priority for all these different materials within this palette or this kind of option set, but they separated it out, which is a great move for Graphisoft, because now you can associate a material with priorities and a hierarchy that's separate from what the actual composite makes it. So this is just dealing with the thickness here. So all these different elements have different thicknesses. They also have different pin weights associated with the line that separates them, or the line or the pin color of the material in the background. Again, the line. And then you can move these elements. So you have steel framing, you can move the insulation, you can just grab these different elements, move them around very easily, very fluidly. You can also change the building material that you're using. So I don't know, what are we doing here? We have concrete masonry unit. It's 7 5/8. Why don't we just make that something else? How about just concrete structural? So you can see it changes its 2D fill and the representation. So not only did I change that representation, but I also changed the interaction or the priority of the material. So this new concrete structural material has a different priority, kind of a different setup and layout and representation than the previous material that I had within that set. So alternatively, instead of going through and clicking these and you can adjust the line weights. But what you can also do is you can click within this, and then it'll highlight the area that you want to change. But again, you can make various different adjustments. You can say, hey, I want this to be a firewall or some special kind of detail of some sort. So then you also have, these are the inlines. So you have an inline on the edges here that can be turned on and off. So let me just turn these off for you, and let me just turn off these lines. I'll just show you what it looks like in plan without having all that. So, and then I also have let's see, this one's on. So that's basically a wall composite that doesn't have any lines showing up, and it doesn't have any inlines. So as you can see here, there's no inlines, there's no dividing lines. So let's just go backwards and just put back the inlines, which show up at the end. As you can see here, those are the inlines, and those actually are kind of vital to your setup. You really want your inlines to be a thickness that represents the information accurately, but then also be coordinated with other composites, because if you have two composites and one has a thicker inline, the thicker inline will become more prominent. So let's look at this. So we're going to add back the separator lines. And we'll just say okay. And there you go. So that's kind of the breakdown of those lines. So let's just look at one other thing. So say you have, let's find one that you like. All right, let's just use 2x6 stud. So it's saying the siding is aluminum. It's saying it has sheathing. It also has wood framing and then chipboard. Okay, I'm not going to use aluminum siding on my project. I will use, how about cement board? And then, in actuality, I'm going to add a skin. This skin might be, let's just say it's a 16th inch, and we'll make it air. Let's see if we have air already here. We have airspace. And it's kind of picking up some of these other pre-selected things. So let's just put that between the cement board. We'll give it a little bit of an airspace. Then we have the wood sheathing, and then we have wood frame and insulation. Then we have cement board again. So let's make this tile. And let's just make it a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch tile. And so, okay. What else could we add to this? We have the wood framing. It's a 2x6, which we can adjust the size. So let's just make this a 2x8 for whatever reason. And now we have kind of whatever composite. Let's see if we can, let's put the insulation in there. So now what I've done is change it from just kind of a basic to having insulation in there. So I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to call this a 2x6 for you guys. And then let's look at that. So now we have this wall. And then we're going to look at this wall real quick. There it is. And there's our wall. So that's it for composites. Catch me in the next session. All right. Thanks. Bye.